Welcome students. In today's class, we shall be studying about the topic of polysaccharides. In the previous class, we had finished the disaccharides. How are they formed? What are the various types of alpha and beta linkages that are formed in them? So, all those concepts will be put into use to understand how polysaccharides are formed or long chain structures of disaccharides are formed, so that they can give rise to polysaccharides. So, now let us start with the term of polysaccharides. What are polysaccharides? These are large molecules containing 10 or more monosaccharide units, more than 10. Simply we can say they contain n number of monosaccharides. Carbohydrate units are connected in one continuous chain, or the chain can be branched. These are also known as storage polysaccharides because they contain only alpha glucose units. Three important ones are starch, glycogen and amylopectin. These are storage polysaccharides. Now, what are structural polysaccharides? The structural polysaccharides contain only beta glucose units. Two important are cellulose and chitin or chitin. Chitin contains a modified beta glucose unit. So, polysaccharides are basically classified into two types: homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides, or they can be storage polysaccharides or structural polysaccharides. The storage polysaccharides always consist of alpha linkage and structural consist of beta linkage. So, now let us discuss them in detail. What are homopolysaccharides? Number one, what are homopolysaccharides? They always contain one type of monomer. For example, glycogen, starch, cellulose, chitin, inulin and dextran. Whereas the second type, which is heteropolysaccharides, contain different types of monomers. Peptidoglycans, glycosaminoglycans, these are examples of heteropolysaccharides. Now, what are branched and unbranched polysaccharides? The unbranched polysaccharides, these are long straight chains of polysaccharides. See here, one molecule end and one reducing end. This is the reducing end and this is a non-reducing end. Now, these are branched polysaccharides. The difference is clear in their structure. What are homopolysaccharides? So, now we shall be discussing about in detail about what are homopolysaccharides. First important type of homopolysaccharide is starch, the carbohydrate of plant kingdom or storage carbohydrate of plants is known as starch. Sources: potatoes, then comes tapioca, cereals such as rice and wheat and other food grains. Starch is a homopolymer composed of D-glucose units and held by alpha glycosidic bond. So, alpha D-glucose is mainly involved in starch, composed of two polysaccharide components, amylose and amylopectin. Starch is further consisting of two types of sub-polysaccharides known as amylose and amylopectin. So, what is amylose? Let us understand. Amylose makes up to 20% of plant starch and is made up of 250 to 4000 D-glucose units bonded by alpha 1,4 in continuous chain. So, they contains of D-glucose units in alpha 1,4 fashion, alpha 1,4 linkage. Long chains of amylose tend to coil, have a molecular weight of more than 4 lakh Daltons, and it is water soluble component of starch. Otherwise, we know that starch is an insoluble compound. Now these are the alpha amylose. See here, this is a alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkage. Now in case of amylopectin, which is the insoluble part and absorbs water and forms a paste like gel, it makes up to 80% of plant starch. So that is why starch is insoluble in water and made up of glucose units, but is highly branched with molecular weight more than 1 million Daltons. Now the branching is alpha 1,6. The branching is alpha 1,6. You can see here, this is an alpha D glucose and this is another alpha D glucose. First carbon and this is sixth carbon, this one is the first carbon. So the linkage is alpha 1,6 in case of amylopectin. So now we all know that amylose consists of alpha 1,4 linkage. See here, these are the two molecules which are linked by alpha 1,4 linkage. So it will tend to form linear chain of amylose, but in case of amylopectin, this is alpha 1,6 linkage and forms a branched chain structure. Amylose consists of only 20% of starch and amylopectin majority 80%. So see here, the chains of amylose, they join together by alpha 1,6 glycosidic linkage and tend to form amylopectin. Now let us see what is hydrolysis of starch. About every 25 glucose units of amylopectin, a branch of glucose units are connected to the glucose of an alpha 1,6 glycosidic bond. During the fruit ripening, starch undergo hydrolysis of alpha 1,4 bond to produce glucose and maltose, which are sweet in taste. When we consume starch, our digestive system break down it into glucose units for use. When reacted with iodine, it will form a blue colored complex, and this color disappears if we heat and reappears when the solution is cooled down. This is a sensitive test for starch because during heating the bonds break down and smaller subunits of glucose and maltose are formed. So the complex dissolves and the blue color disappears, but upon cooling it reappears due to condensation of glucose and maltose bonds, and it again tends to form the long chains of amylose and amylopectin. When starch is hydrolyzed by mild acids, smaller and smaller fragments are produced. The hydrolysis for a short time produces amylodextrin, a violet color with iodine and a non-reducing sugar known as amylodextrin. Further hydrolysis of erythrodextrina is known as, or we can simply say that this is erythrodextrina and maltose. This is formed. So you all must be familiar then that upon hydrolysis it usually forms amylodextrin, and amylodextrin further breakups to form maltose and glucose. So is it clear for you? Now the storage form of carbohydrate in case of animals is glycogen. It is a storage form of energy in animals stored in liver and muscles. Stores more glucose residues per gram than starch. It is more complex and compact due to excess of branching than starch. A homopolysaccharide, number of glucose units up to 25,000. A linear chain of alpha 1,4 linkages known as glucosid residues with branches joined at alpha 1,6 bonds. It consists of more energy in a smaller space. Glycogen in liver is 6 to 8% and is higher than that of the muscles. Liver glycogen is the first line of defense against declining blood glucose levels and especially between the meals. So, whenever we are feeling an excess of appetite, this stored glycogen is usually break down to form glucose units and supplies the emergency needs of glucose. Now, this is the structure of glucose. You can see here alpha 1,4 linkages. See the first carbon and the fourth carbon, and you can see here the branching is occurring between alpha 1,6, first and sixth carbon here and here. So, this is glycogen. It is only found in case of animals. Now, the other examples include cellulose. The units combined are beta 1,4 linkages. See here, these are beta 1,4 linkages. First carbon, fourth carbon of beta D glucose. Straight line chain with no branches is allowed to align next to each other to form a strong rigid structure. These are the structural elements of plants. Structural elements. The next one is chitin. It makes up the exoskeleton of insects and crustaceans and cell walls of some fungi. Now, see here, it is also beta 1,4 linkage and it is made up of N-acetyl glucosamine. The structure is not simply a glucose, but N-acetyl glucosamine. N-acetyl glucosamine. Now, let us draw the structure of glucose. Now, this is the structure of beta D glucose. An N-acetyl amine shall be reacting here to form N-acetyl glucosamine here, and for formation of chitin there must be beta 1,4 linkage between N-acetyl glucosamines. See here, this is the first carbon and this is the fourth carbon. Chitin is also used to waterproof the paper and in cosmetics lotions to retain the moisture. So, this is used mainly in cosmetic industry. Now, that was all about the homopolysaccharides. Now, we shall be discussing about heteropolysaccharides. These are the polymers made from more than one kind of monosaccharides and are usually derivatives of mucopolysaccharides, agar, agarose and glycoproteins. What are mucopolysaccharides? First, isolated from mucin are known as mucopolysaccharides. These are long unbranched heteropolysaccharides made of repeating disaccharide units containing uronic acid and amino sugar. These are more commonly known as GAGs or glycosaminoglycans. Glycosaminoglycans. So what are amino sugars? These are combination of glucosamine and galactosamine present in their acetylated form. Uronic acid is of glucuronic acid. This is the major component of extracellular matrix of connective tissue, including bone and cartilage. Synovial fluid mainly found in knee joints. Vitreous humor and secretion of mucus and mucus producing cells. Another example of heteropolysaccharide is hyaluronic acid. It is the simplest mucopolysaccharide, which is a linear polymer of disaccharide. Each disaccharide is linked to the next by beta 1,4 linkage. It is a beta 1,4 linkage. Two alternative units of D-glucuronic acid and N-acetyl glucosamine are linked together by beta 1,3 bonds. These are linked together by beta 1,3 bonds into a thread-like structure. Mainly found in synovial fluid of joints, vitreous humor in the eye, and connective tissues and cartilage. Now see here the structure of hyaluronic acid. This linkage is beta 1,3, whereas this linkage is beta 1,4. So they occur in alternate fashion. Now the next one is heparin. Heparin is a medically important polysaccharide because it prevents clotting of blood. It is having a very important feature that it prevents the phenomena of blood clotting. So it is highly ionic polysaccharide of repeating disaccharide units in an oxidized monosaccharide and D-glucosamine. Heparin also contains sulfate groups that are negatively charged. So due to presence of positive and negative charges, it is highly ionic in nature, ionic compound, mainly having beta 1,4 linkage between D-glucuronate and N-sulfoglucosamine sulfate. This is the structure of heparin. Note down. So student, it was all regarding the various types of polysaccharides. In our next class, we shall be studying about what are the various qualitative tests for carbohydrates, and also we shall understand how these reactions are covered up. So till then, revise the various types of polysaccharides and learn the linkages and structural formations, so that they could help you understand how the hydrolysis of polysaccharide occurs to form corresponding disaccharides and monosaccharides. So students, keep revising and keep learning these facts. Thank you.